Hey there everybody, Morgan with a Vin Answer here, and today I'm making these balloon snowflakes. They're a quick and inexpensive way to decorate for a winter Wonderland themed party. And I'll show you not only how to make the snowflake, but 2 different ways you can display this at your party. So follow along and I'll show you how I made them. The supplies you'll need to make one of these snowflakes are 6 12-inch quick link balloons, 7 260 cues, and then 14 5-inch balloons. Now I'm doing all of these in white, but you could use any color you like. In addition to that, I'm going to be using my electric inflator as well as a hand pump and my cardboard box balloon sizer, which I'll have that video linked up above if you'd like to learn how to make one as well. The first thing I'm going to do is inflate all of my quick link balloons until they're almost full, and then put them against the 8-inch hole in my sizer box and slowly let air out of those balloons until they just fit through that 8-inch hole. This is going to give me a really consistent balloon sizing for all of my snowflake. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this off and repeat this for all 6 of my 12-inch balloons. Once they're all inflated, I'm going to tie them together into pairs. So I'm just going to take 2 of the nozzles and tie them in a simple knot. And I'll do this so that in the end I've got 3 pairs of these quick link balloons. Next up, we're going to inflate the 5-inch balloons. So these 2 over here, we're going to inflate to 3 pumps each. And then the other 12, we're only going to inflate those to 2 pumps. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these filled and then tie them together in a pair. But with these 2 larger balloons, it's critical that when you tie the knot, you tie on the very end of the nozzle so we have a lot of stretchy distance between those 2 because they have to stretch the furthest in our design. The rest of these balloons, we'll just go ahead and tie as normal and put them into pairs. I'm taking 3 of those pairs and locking them together to create a 6-petaled flower, which will make up the center of our snowflake. So I'm just going to make sure all the nozzles touch and twist them together, and then I'm going to repeat this so I have 2 of these 6-petaled flowers. The final balloon element to inflate are the 260 cues, which are going to make up the tips of our snowflakes. So I'm going to take this and put it on my inflator and fill it so that there's only a 4-finger tail left on the end of this balloon uninflated. And that's going to give us just enough room to make our design with a little bit of extra. Before I tie off the end of this, I'm going to let a little bit of air out, and that's going to soften up the balloon and make it a lot easier to mold. So once I've got that knot tied, I'm going to use a series of pinch twists to make the tip of our snowflake. So I'm just going to run my hands over this, soften up the balloon, and then I'm going to use the palm of my hand as a sizing mechanism. So I'm using the width of my hand, that's going to be the size of my first pinch twist. So I'm going to fold the balloon over and then pinch together the nozzle and the balloon where they meet up and twist it about 4 times to lock it in place. Once you've got that first pinch twist, I'm going to take my nozzle and push it through the loop, and that's going to hold it in place so it won't come undone. Now we're just going to repeat this pinch twist 3 more times so we have 4 pinch twists in total in the exact same way. So I'm going to hold it between my thumb and forefinger, measure the balloon out so it's the width of my hand, pinch it together where I need it, and twist it 4 times. Do your best to get these pinch twists as consistently as possible, but they do get more consistent the more times you practice this, so you might consider doing a couple of these ahead of time before you start building your snowflake. Once all 4 of those pinch twists are made, I'm going to take the remaining tail and wrap it around the entire design, and then take it the other direction and wrap it around again. And this is going to help lock everything together so all those twists are right in the center. Then I'm going to take the remaining tail and make another loop that's about 6 inches tall, and I'm going to pinch it right at the base again and twist it 4 times to lock it in place. The remaining tail of the balloon, I'm just going to wrap around a couple times and go through that tallest loop to lock it in place, and then I'm going to take a pair of scissors to it and gently nip the end of it to let it deflate, and then whatever's left of that balloon we'll just wrap underneath to hide it away because it won't be used for anything structural at this point. Once that's secured, I'm going to just arrange all of my pinch twists so they stand up straight, and that tallest loop nestles right between 2 of those pinch twists. Now we're going to join the quick link balloons to all those tips that we just made out of the 260s. So using that long rubber end on the quick link, I'm going to bring it right up through the center of the tip of that snowflake, wrap it around a couple times, weaving it in and out, which will secure everything in place. And then whatever's left of that nub, just leave it on the underside and that'll hide it away. So I'm going to attach all of my tips to the ends of my quick links, and we're ready to start assembling the snowflake. So I'm going to take 2 of those pairs and twist them together, and then I'm going to bring my 3rd pair around and twist it across the center, and then twist the 2 that were from the same pair, and that's going to lock all 6 of these in place. But they don't want to lay flat, they want to bunch up. So to keep them flat, we're going to add some of those small round balloons. And to secure all that in place, I'm using an empty 260Q and I'm just tying that across all the nozzles of those 12-inch quick links, and I'm going to use that to secure all my little balloons and large balloons together. So I'm going to grab my first set of those small balloons and lay them flat on top of my quick links, making sure one of those small balloons is between each of the large balloons. And then while pressing down on that and holding everything in place, I'm going to take that 260Q and weave it back and forth across my design, making sure I go under one of the large balloons, coming back up and across the center, and then wrapping it down under another large balloon. I'm just going to work my way back and forth across the entire design so that 260Q has gone between every single balloon. The repetition of this movement, as well as the tightness of the design, will help hold everything flat. So once I've got that all done, I'm going to take my tail and bring it to the back side and flip the entire design over. And even though we wove all those balloons together on the front side, they still want to pop up here on the back. So we have to repeat this by putting one more set of those small balloons down, and just like we did on the front, lay everything flat and then weave that 260Q in and out until everything is nice and secure. Once that's complete and you got the very tail end of that 260Q, I'm just going to tie it off to one of the nozzles in the center, and that'll hold it in place. Now we finally have those larger 5-inch balloons, and we're going to put them right in the very center of the design. And this is why we needed those tails to be super long. So I'm going to lay that balloon right in the center, and then stretching those nozzles right between other balloons, we're going to lay it right in the center on both sides, and it's the final step to keeping this flat. Now that the snowflake's complete, let's talk about how to display these fun designs. One way you can do that is to hang it with some fishing line from a ceiling or a doorway really simply. So I've taken a push pin and just pushed it directly up into my ceiling, and that's enough to hold the light weight of this snowflake balloon display. You could also use a binder clip. If you have a drop down ceiling, you can just clip it right onto the metal slats in that drop down. Or you could simply tape the end of your fishing line to a doorway or a wall, and then just take the other end of that, wrap it around some of your balloons, and that'll hold it really nicely. But if you can't hang your design, you could always build a base for it. So I've got some 5-inch balloons here in blue, as well as 5 11-inch ones, and then a couple 260Qs in blue and white. And I'm going to build a base for this. So using my inflators and box that we used earlier. In addition to that, I'm also going to be using this balloon pillar base, and I'll have a video linked up above of how to make this if you'd like. And for this particular project, I'm using a 3-foot section of PVC pipe. I'm inflating my 5 11-inch balloons to 7 inches in diameter using my balloon sizer box just like before, tying those off, and then I'm going to bring all 5 of those together into one arrangement. So I'm going to first tie them into pairs, and then to one of those pairs I'm going to add an additional balloon, that 5th one, and so I'm just going to take the nozzle, wrap it around, and then tie it in with the other 2 nozzles. So you should have a pair and a trio, and we're going to bring those together into a set of 5 just by taking that pair, wrapping it across the center, twisting it in place, and that's going to give us a 5-petaled flower. And then we're going to do the same thing with our 5-inch balloons, inflating those to 4 pumps each, and then tying them together into another set of 5. Then I'm going to take all 4 of my 260Qs and inflate them so there's only about 1 inch of tail on the end that's uninflated. Once I've got that in place, I'm going to let a little bit of air out of the balloon and then tie it off. I'm then going to take all these balloons and tie them together into pairs. So take a nozzle from each balloon, and it doesn't matter what color they are, and just tie them together securely. So you end up with 2 pairs of these balloons. Now we're going to add everything to the base. So I'm going to take my large white balloons, press them right around the pole so that the pole is against the nozzles of the balloons. Take 2 of those balloons and twist them together so it secures it around the pole. I'm then going to repeat this with my smaller balloons, doing the exact same thing and making sure those smaller balloons nestle down between 2 of the larger ones. Next is to add the 260Qs, and they're going to go right underneath our small balloons, making sure the nozzles of those 260s are right against the pole and that they're in between 2 small balloons. I'm going to do the same thing for my second pair of 260s, and then once I've got them right up in between the other 2, I'm going to secure 1 balloon from each pair together so that they don't shimmy around. Once I've got that together, I'm going to twist 2 of the balloons really snugly around each other, and this is going to start our coil up the pole. Once I get to the end of that, I'm going to twist the balloons together so they lock into place, and then take this spiral and wrap it in the direction of that spiral, around my pole. And I want to make sure this is really snugly around the pole and I'm pulling up on it so we get some nice tension. And then I wrapped the end of that balloon around the pole a couple times to hold it in place before nipping it with a pair of scissors and tying one end of each of those balloons together securely in a knot. Then I'm going to follow up with the other two balloons, wrapping them snugly in the same direction as we did before, and taking the end of that balloon and tying it into the knot I've already got at the top. Now you'll notice there's about 6 inches of pipe sticking out above our balloons, and we're going to use that section to nestle right in between our two quick link balloons. And we're going to bring the snowflake down right until the end of that pipe is sitting against all of the central nozzles. The friction between the pole and the balloons is going to be enough to hold everything in place, but if you were worried about someone bumping into it or maybe being a little breezy, you could always take an extra 260Q and wrap it around the center of the pole as well as the snowflake to hold everything together. And that's it! Our snowflakes are ready for a winter wonderland. I hope you're inspired by today's project and give these balloons a try. It comes together super quick and makes a beautiful addition to a winter wonderland themed party. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button and remember to subscribe below. I'd love to have you join my creative community as I make all kinds of event and prop tutorials as well as balloon projects just like this one. So don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And until the next time, you can check out some of my other projects over here. And remember, stay creative everybody! Bye!